Hi guys, we constantly hear from people on the right and Reform UK in particular, we should prioritise British people. We should look after our own first and then eventually care about migrants, asylum seekers and refugees. So on the issue of welfare and support benefits, Reform UK want to change the system, it seems. They want to take support away from foreigners and prioritise British people. But there's a problem with that.
Under a Reform UK government, only British citizens will be eligible for welfare. Net migration is out of control, and under the Tory government and the Labour government, Britain has become a food bank for the world. A Reform UK government will change what is happening at the moment. Under the Boris wave, 3.8 million people came here. Half of those have never worked and never will work. And the message from Reform UK is simple. It is time to prioritise British citizens.
Okay, so when he mentions a few things here, he says that so many people, 3.5 million, I believe it is, came over, and a lot of them are not working. Okay, a lot of them aren't working because some of them are students, some of them are retirees, some of them are children, so they can't work. Some people can't work because they are disabled or they need some sort of support. So we're already getting rid of a significant number of people who can't work. Then we know that when it comes to EU citizens, well, Reform UK have come out and said, well, they will be exempt. So we're creating a lot of exemptions, even though they say we're not going to provide support for foreigners. But there's also another problem. We know that about 40% of people on universal credit, which is of course a benefit, are working. So if you're going to take that support away from people who are working, now why are they on universal credit while working? Because obviously the support they need is not sufficient and the wages they earn are too low, so they need extra support. So you're going to take that away. Then what do you think is going to happen? The people who are just about getting by, just about able to pay their bills, pay their rent, feed their families, will end up in destitution. You know, this plan is to force people out of the country, but many people will not be able to return to their home countries. So they will have to stay and they will become homeless, they will become destitute. That's much more expensive, and of course then they'll lose their jobs. So you're putting people in a position where they're working now, contributing in many cases, and you're going to force them into destitution. But it's okay, because as Reform UK keeps saying, we need to prioritise British people first. But there's also another problem with that. This is Anne Widdecombe from Reform just a couple of years ago.
We've seen it.
Yeah, but what do you say to consumers who literally can't afford to pay even for some of the basics if they've gone up the way that cheese sandwich has with all its ingredients?
Well, then you don't do the cheese sandwich.
There we have it. So if you're poor, well then just cut back more. And this is not about migration. This is not about asylum seekers, refugees, foreigners. This is just people in general. So when Reform UK say they prioritise British people, as soon as you then ask, well, what should British people do who are struggling? Well, Anne Widdecombe from Reform, her response is, well, then you just need to cut back more. You know, it's a bit like when the Tories say what young people need to do in order to get on the property ladder is they need to cancel their Netflix, or they need to cut back on vaping, or they need to stop buying avocado toast and stuff like this. We're hearing pretty much the same argument from Reform. We need to prioritise British people when it comes to benefits and support. But as soon as you then ask about what should British people who are struggling do, well, the response from Reform, of course, is, well, you need to cut back more. We've heard it from other members of Reform, Lee Anderson telling people, well, you know, you could make a meal out of 30p. We heard other Reform UK supporters and councillors and MPs saying, you know, people just need to be more prudent, more frugal. You know, while some of these MPs are claiming hundreds of thousands of pounds in expenses. What they do is they sell this idea that they're prioritising the working class, they're prioritising ordinary British people who are on benefits. But then as soon as you take the issue of immigration away, they fall back into their old Tory ways of, well, you know, if you're poor, it's your fault. If you're poor, you just need to cut back more. maybe get a better job, work more hours. That will sort you out. So they don't care about poor people. They certainly don't like the idea of poor people who are foreigners. But when it comes to British people, they simply don't care. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. And I'll see you in the next video.